Today's video is with Brian Bates of Bear Creek Farm. This was shot back in April, and if you haven't seen any of the other stuff I've done with Brian, the dude is just crushing it. This market farm is doing over 400,000 a year, and I believe they're under 2 acres, and most of the production is from greenhouses, and there's a little bit of field production, but they've really dialed in their microgreens and their high tunnel production. And in this video, Brian is showing us his trolley system in his nursery high tunnel, which is where they do all their microgreens. And if you're doing this kind of production with microgreens, this thing really makes a big difference in just saving you transit time moving back and forth flats or whatever other materials you need to move from one end of the tunnel to the other. And they had a really good system at Bear Creek where it's in one side and out the other side with everything, so it all flows one way. And I think that really cuts down their time and their labor just moving things back and forth. So this video is a segment of a series of videos that I've been releasing, and I will up until October 18th, that are all segments of videos that are from my membership site, fromthefield.farm. And the content that's on that site is very detailed, very long form. I produce a featured video which is up to an hour each week. I produce many subject videos of that video, that kind of little snippets of each one. This would be an example of one of those. And I do a Q&A with the members each week, and I've been doing those here live on YouTube, but members submit questions in the forum. We have a whole community in the site, and I just go through these questions and answer them as if I was consulting. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you join me there. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, check out the link. It's in the show notes. Just follow that, and it's open until October 18th, and I hope you guys will join me. Enjoy this one.
So the trolley we got from a Canadian company called VRE Systems. I'd never heard of them, but I met them at a trade show, and they were like, yeah, we build trolleys.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I've been spending months online looking for one. So it's a monorail trolley, and after we bought it, I was kind of like, man, we probably could have just bought these components. But it's just these like C-hooks here, galvanized pipe into a T, literally tech screwed in with hose clamps. That's their standard installation. And then we ordered this purlin pipe just from like Knoltz or something, and you should lay the purlin pipe. And then the thing that they make that you're buying, you know, they sell these shelved carts.
Yeah.
So these are all micros that need to be on stacks. We don't have enough space. Yeah. But it's galvanized metal. The shelves come off. So sometimes when we're shuttling a lot of plants and it's not too heavy, we actually just lift the shelves and put them into the Kubota and shuttle them around, so you have like a double decker.
Yeah.
If you had a wider aisle, they have trolleys that are 3-4 shelves. They could also be single shelf. They have some that have wheels in the bottom that if you got to the end of your greenhouse and then you have a concrete head house, you could then turn it into a nursery cart. So they, you know, it's all sort of custom. You give them the dimensions of your house and your rafter spacing, and then they put in a CAD drawing, spit this out, give you a map, and you build it.
What did this cost to set up?
So this is a 110-foot run around one 8-foot table with 3 trolleys, and it was between $3 and $4 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, think about all the schlepping it saves you.
Basically, one person can carry one of these at a time. These are a standard stack of 8 micros, 8 flats. One person can carry one of those at a time, and this takes 5 comfortably. 5 on the bottom shelf. We don't usually put up here because it's just kind of a little too tall, so we put the single flats there. So yeah, you're already, you know, 5 times more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a greenhouse of this size and you're moving this much product, I imagine this thing pays itself off in just transit.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
And the other big thing is, up there is our head house, our potting shed, and out there is our back door.
Okay.
So when we added this trolley system, we came up with this idea of like single flow. So the new soil comes in there, we mix it, put it into flats, seed it in the potting shed, then they go onto the shelf, then they're unstacked with the trolley wherever they need to go, then we harvest in place, and then as we're done we stack and stack and stack. So as we harvest, here's like a shitty flat here. So if I've just scissor cut this flat, right? Then I'll take this one, put it right on top. Scissor cut this flat. Take this one, put it right on top. And we'll do that until it's like this high.
Yeah.
Then we start a new pile. So then in the process of harvesting, you've created a pile of spent flats. We then take the pile of spent flats, put them on the same trolley, send them down to the back door, where they then get loaded into the Kubota dump, you know, UTV. It's like a gator. We dump the soil in there. The soil goes to the compost pile. The empty flats are now stacked, and then we stack those in here to dry them out, air them out, use the sun to sanitize them, and they go back to the potting shed.
Boom.
So it's all just sort of like, just comes through. That way we're not, you know, crisscrossing, walking past, whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so it makes, it really helps. It really does.
Very efficient.
And we're gonna build a new greenhouse this summer that's gonna, where all the micro production's gonna move. And we will actually take it one step further. We're gonna move to a concrete floor. And those initial shelves that they're on are gonna be nursery carts on wheels. And the potting shed is going to have a ramp to the greenhouse. So as you seed the stacks, the stack will go onto the shelf on the rack on wheels. You will fill up the rack. You will just wheel the rack into the greenhouse. That is your shelf in the greenhouse. Once they start to pop, you will then take the same rack. You've not moved a tray. Take the rack to where they go on the tables, then put them on the tables. Then when you harvest them, put them on a rack and take them out. So we're gonna ditch the trolley, not because the trolley's bad, but just because you can get more shelves on a rack.
Right.
And we can skip 2 steps. So that's kind of the goal.
Wow.
Because I mean, look, we did last year. I've already forgot. Over 10,000 flats. Right. So you save yourself 5, 10, 20 seconds of flat in motion waste.
Yeah. That's a lot of time.
That's times 10,000 flats. Yeah. That's a lot of time to save.
Absolutely.
And that's money. And micros is a margin game.
Yes.
Lots of people can grow a few flats, but we are not selling these for stupid prices. You can't when you're selling it straight to the consumer.
Absolutely not.
So can a chef pay 6 or 7 ounces for like some fancy amaranth? Sure. But no customer would ever pay that. Yeah. So when we're selling these, you know, we're selling these greens on average for like $20 to $24 a pound. So it's not a crazy price. These are not astronomical prices.
No.
Our goal is to get $10 on every flat as a base.
As a net or a gross?
Gross.
Okay. Because
cost is 3.
Okay. Okay.
Cost is 3. Gross is 10. That's the goal. And then, you know, if you're above that, great. If some are above it, some are below it, whatever.
So it's an interesting strategy because it's often the opposite of what most people do. Like you're really just going at a scale game.
Yep.
If your net is $7 a flat, there's no money in doing 100 flats. You need to do hundreds of flats.
Well, the money in 100 flats would be $700.
Yep.
And so if that's worth your time and that's what you can sell, then that's what you can do.
Sure.
But if we're doing, you know, 10,000 flats, then that's $70,000. That starts to be real money.